All right, we are live streaming. You should have got a notification. You just need to click got it. And Miss Sapp, I'll turn it over to you whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled This One Summer by M. Tamaki. I'm Dawn Sapp, Associate Superintendent.
Miss Sapp,
Yes.
I'm sorry I started a minute early there.
Oh,
So if you want to wait 1 minute, we might want to
yep,
wait till that 2 o'clock
absolutely.
posted time. I apologize.
No problem.
I got a little excited. All right, Miss Sapp, it is officially 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, here we go again. So welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled This One Summer by M. Tamaki. I'm Dawn Sapp, Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction in the St. Johns County School District, and I've been directed by the superintendent to facilitate today's meeting. School-based and district staff, as well as parent and community volunteers, are invited to participate on each committee. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson, the St. Johns County School District Superintendent. This committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. It is being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during the meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of this meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members received several resources in advance of the meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book, Florida statutes, Florida Department of Education training slides, St. Johns County School Board rules, the Library Bill of Rights, and school library media material evaluations checklists. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the school library media material evaluation checklist. Finally, the committee will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. There are two options: retain the book for a designated level or remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Are there any questions? Okay, then we'll begin. Jean Moore is the, oh, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We had somebody that got out of the meeting and is coming back in right now. So
okay. We'll give a pause.
Sorry about that. But they are coming back in, so we should be back on track.
Okay.
All right, Pat, are you good? Can you hear us?
I got kicked out.
All right, I think we're ready to go. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back, Pat.
Thank you.
Okay, Jean Moore is the objecting party for This One Summer. She is unable to join us today, and so she is foregoing the opportunity to address the committee. Committee members, we will now begin our discussion utilizing the school library media material evaluation checklist. I will read each question or statement from the review checklist. Florida requirements state that any materials used in a classroom, made available in a school or classroom library, or included on a reading list may not contain content that: 1, is pornographic or prohibited under section 847.012 of Florida statutes. 2, which this is recently added in our last legislative session through House Bill 1069, depicts or describes sexual conduct as defined in 847.001, paren 19, unless such material is for course required instruction. 3, is not suited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented. Or 4, is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used. Questions 4, 5, 6, and 7 on our checklist cite this statutory language. If the majority of the committee votes yes for any one of these, the recommendation must be to remove the title. Keep in mind that our final task on the form is to make a recommendation to the superintendent Orson. And again, there are 2 options. We can retain the book for a designated level or remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. Again, statute is clear that we must remove the title if there is a majority of the committee who votes that there is a violation of question 4, 5, 6, or 7. The floor will be open to discussion, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand to participate in the discussion. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Let's begin. Okay, we'll start with question number 1. The objecting party's challenge of the material cites that, and we'll go down each of these, and if you believe that their reason for objecting to the material is represented, you'll vote yes. If you don't believe that this is their reason for objecting, you'll say no. So we're going to go through all 4 of these. And again, this is when you read the objecting party's reconsideration form and their reason for objecting, we're just checking all the boxes that we believe they have objected to the material, the reasons. Okay, so reason number 1, the material is pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012. You'll vote with a green check if you believe that is the reason for the objection, or a red check if you do not believe it's the reason for the objection.
Ms. Sapp, before I tally the votes here, Pat, do you have a question?
I sure do. I'm not sure what this checklist is. When I read it, I'm thinking, is this material pornography prohibited according to the objection, the person who objected, or according to me, or according to the statute?
It's according to the person who is objecting. When you read their reason for objecting to the material, do you believe, according to what they wrote down, that they are objecting because they believe it's pornographic? Or do you believe they're objecting because, like, you could go down the list, they believe that the material depicts or describes sexual conduct? Do you believe that they're saying it's not suited for student needs and ability to comprehend, or that it's inappropriate for the grade level and age group? And while we're here, in media services, this book is currently available for which grade levels? Could you let us know?
It's available at the high school grade levels.
Okay, so it's currently available for grades 9 through 12. So we'll, in our mindset, that'll be our reference as we work through. Did that answer your question?
Sort of. I'm still kind of a little murky on this.
It's really I should have said this. The intent of these first few questions, when the superintendent reads our recommendation, these first few questions are just to give him a sense of, did the committee understand the reason that the objecting party objected? Not that you agree with it necessarily, but you can categorize it in one of these 4 ways. And then like question number 2, it gives him a sense of kind of a confirmation that yes, the committee did read through the objecting party material. They did read through the crowdsource review. So really the first few questions are just us making sure that he can see when he gets the paperwork that this is why we think it was objected to, and that we did review all the materials that were provided. So hopefully that gives a little context to questions 1 through 3. Okay, so right now we're going through number 1, but we're doing each one separately. So if you believe that the objecting party's challenge cites that the material is pornographic, right now you would vote with a green check. You don't think that they cited that it was pornographic, you would vote with a red check.
So you're not doing pornographic according to the Supreme Court's 3 rulings on what's defined as pornographic. This is just some person's panties are in a wad over some reading, so it's got to be considered pornographic. That's my.
Well, I would just reference you back to Ms. Moore's, when she filled out her request for reconsideration of materials, she cited what she believes, why she's
she cited a third-party vendor's interpretation that was a slick little third-party synopsis. So I don't believe any of that is her opinion on anything. That's just some slick third party that told her what to think. So I'm just, looking at it from like, yeah, I can find, I can go into the internet and find lots of, third-party references to, nasty Bible verses. And I can tell you the Bible's a horrible, nasty book based on that, cherry picking all of that. And that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, well, and Pat, we realize this is somewhat subjective, but we just need.
It's very subjective, yes.
Your opinion as a member of this committee,
Yep.
When you read Ms. Moore's objection, which of these do you think best represents why she's objecting to the book? That's all we're asking.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Mhm.
All right, Ms. Sepp, we have another hand raised. Leanna,
Okay.
did you have a question?
So I think, my question follows along. We're answering the question of what we believe she is citing this book for, not anything after this form. Because like she cites nudity, but that's not in the book. So like I'm just going off of what Miss Moore is flagging this book for, not anything past that, just what she is saying on this form.
Correct, just what she says. When she answered that question, what is objectionable about the material? And she provides an answer, why she's objecting. We're just codifying that on question number 1.
So it's a useless exercise. We're not, she can think what she wants, as can I.
Pat, you want to go ahead and mute yourself?
Okay. Are we still waiting?
We are waiting on one more vote. Leanna,
Okay.
can you put your vote in for the first statement? Thank you. All right, you can go ahead and remove your vote. We have 3 green checks and 5 red X's for this one, Miss Sepp.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Okay,
I'm
so
just
we'll
waiting.
move down
Pat,
to-
can you remove your vote, please? Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move down to the second, the objecting party's challenge of the material cites. The material depicts or describes sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847-001, paren 19. If you believe that this is most closely aligned to her reason for objecting, you would mark yes. If you don't, you would mark no.
We're just waiting on 3 more votes.
Could you repeat the question?
The objecting party's challenge of the material cites that the material depicts or describes sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847.001 paren 19. If you believe that she is citing this, you would say yes. If you don't, you would say no. That's her reason for objecting.
All right, Ms. Sapp, we have 6 green checks and 2 red X's on this.
Okay, thank you.
If everyone can remove their vote now.
Okay, we're moving on down the
Oh.
list.
Mr. Phelps, can you remove your vote, please?
The objecting party's challenge of the material cites that the material is not suited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented. Think that yes, this does match to her reason for objection. You would put a green check. If you don't think it matches her reason for objection, you would put a red X.
All right, got that last vote. Ms. Sapp, on this one, we have 6 green checks and 2 red X's.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If
Last
everyone can
one.
remove their vote. There we go.
Okay, if you see that the objecting party's challenge of the material cites that the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used, you would mark yes with a green check or no with a red X.
All right, on this one, we have 7 green checks and 1 red X. If you can remove your vote now. Just waiting on one more vote removal. Thank you.
Okay, number 2 in our checklist. This is in reference to you. You are answering, did you review specific pages in the material that were cited by the objecting party? That, you know, the objecting party cited certain pages that they were concerned about, and you're answering, were you able to review those cited pages? Yes or no?
Mr. Phelps, can we get your vote on that one? Thank you. We have 8 green checks for this one. If
Excellent.
everyone can remove their vote.
Thank you, everybody, for doing your homework. Are there any comments for this one? Does anyone have a comment that they'd like to make regarding their review of the pages? I mean, we'll have time for comment on down as well, but any hands raised?
No, no hands are raised.
Okay, great. All right, we'll move on down to number 3. So again, this is for us as a committee. You are indicating professional and or crowdsourced reviews were considered. In other words, did you take a look at the provided reviews, either professional or crowdsourced? If you did, you'll mark yes. If you did not, you'll mark no.
We have 8 green checks.
Excellent.
If everyone can remove their vote.
Okay, so again, are there any comments related to the professional or crowdsourced reviews? Does anyone have any comments?
We have one hand raised, Elizabeth.
Okay, go ahead.
I thought that it was worth noting within the comments that there or in the reviews that there were repeated comments from all different reviewers about how the language and depictions were very realistic. It was very diverse. All the age recommendations were aligned with what is where the book is currently available for high schoolers and teenagers. That it was all of the reviews or most of the reviews talked about how a teenager or someone kind of entering adolescence could read this and identify with it. That it was like that everything was very normal.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have any other hands raised at this time.
Okay, we will move on. Thank you, Elizabeth. And we will move on to number 4. So this is where we're actually getting into, does this book violate statute? So is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? And this is where I will open the floor for anyone to, if you'd like to raise your hand and provide a comment before we vote. So we are answering the question, is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012?
There are no hands raised. So
Okay,
if
go
everyone
ahead.
wants to put their vote in,
We'll go ahead and call for a vote. If you believe that the material is pornographic, you would mark yes. If you believe that it is not pornographic or prohibited per the Florida statute, you would vote no.
all right, okay. For this vote, we have 8 no red X's. And if everyone can remove their vote at this time. All right, thank you.
Okay, next, does the material depict, uh-oh, did I lose you?
Nope, we can still hear you.
Sorry, my screen shifted. Okay, so for number 5, does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847.001, 19? So I'll open the floor for comments. Does anyone have any comments before we vote on, does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847.001, 19?
I'm out here looking at 8.7, 8.87, what is 001, and I don't
Right.
see any definition.
The
here.
definition, you have to actually, I think, reference,
001 definitions.
it's the definition for sexual conduct.
Oh, it's way down there, number 16. Okay, can we read that so we can all get an understanding of that?
It should be 19.
It says 16 is sexual conduct, unless I'm reading an older version of the statute, which is possible.
So you're asking that we read that definition?
The definition of sexual conduct, yes.
Okay. The definition as cited in statute, sexual conduct means actual or simulated sexual intercourse, deviant sexual intercourse, sexual bestiality, masturbation, or sadomasochistic abuse, actual or simulated lewd exhibition of the genitals, actual physical contact with a person's clothed or unclothed genitals, pubic area, buttocks, or if such person is a female, breast with the intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of either party, or any act or conduct which constitutes sexual battery or simulates sexual battery is being or will be committed. A mother's breastfeeding of her baby does not under any circumstance constitute sexual conduct. Are there any other hands raised for comment?
There are no other hands raised.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. Question number 5, does the material depict or describe sexual conduct as defined in Florida Statute 847001 for N19? Yes would be green check, no would be a red X.
Okay, Ms. Sapp, we have 1 green check and 7 red X's. If everyone can remove their vote now.
Okay, we're moving on to question number 6.
We got 1, there we go. All the votes are removed now. Thank you.
Question number 6, is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? Are there any comments before we vote?
There is 1 hand. Oh, we have 2 hands. Carrie, can you unmute and tell us your comment?
So where would I be sure that this is only offered in our school libraries for 9 to 12 years old, 9 to 12th grade? Like this was never offered in a middle school. I mean, I don't see that on Jean's thing, or I don't see it in the paperwork. Like, because if it's for a younger age, I might object.
It has never been offered in our school library system, and the collection development younger than high school.
Okay,
It's only
thank
been
you.
in the high school collections.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there still-
All right, Elizabeth, if you can unmute and tell us your comment.
I think that was along the lines of my question. I wanted to confirm that in this question where it says unsuited to student needs, we're talking explicitly about the students to which this is offered, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we're talking about students in grades 9 through 12.
There are no other hands raised.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote for question number 6. Is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? Yes would be a green check, no would be a red X.
Ms. Sapp, we have 8 red X's for this vote. If
Okay.
everyone can clear their vote, please.
Okay.
We got 1 more vote that needs to get cleared. Carrie,
Oh,
can you
sorry.
clear your vote?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure we get them all clear. We're good to go.
Question number 7. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used? Are there any comments?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used? Yes is a green check, no is a red X.
We have 8 red X's. If you can clear your vote.
Okay, so we will now make our recommendation to the
Ms. Sapp,
superintendent.
can you clear your vote?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will now make our recommendation to the superintendent. Of course, he will see all of the notes and all of the votes that are presented from the committee. But in this, we need to indicate for him from the committee where we believe the material is appropriate. And so, is there someone who would like to make a recommendation? Do we want this material in which grade level and up? Given that we can do 6 and up, 8 and up, 9 and up. Or we can say that we think the material should be removed.
All right, I think we have two hands raised. Well, Pat was first.
I have no problem. I taught 6th and 7th and 8th grade in the past, and I think I have a good touch with the kids, and I would have no problem with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders reading it, and 9th through 12 nothing. So if St. John's County goes at 9 to 12, I don't care. And if my kids were in school and they want to read it, I would take them to the library and get it anyway. So it doesn't matter. And any intelligent kid will read any book anyway, because they're going to look at any book that you ban and they're going to say, "Oh, I want to read that." So I'm very happy knowing that children are much smarter than the adults around them. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think.
All right, we have another hand raised. Carrie,
let's go ahead
can
and hear
you
that.
unmute and say your comment?
I would only want to see this book available in 9th through 12th grade.
Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do a vote. Pat did present the idea of this being appropriate for middle school. So let's just take a vote for the committee. The material is appropriate for grades 6 and up. Yes would be a green check. No would be a red X.
Just waiting on a couple more people. Ms. Sapp, we have 2 green checks and 6 red X's for 6th grade and up. If
Okay.
you can remove your vote. Thank you.
Okay, let's take a vote. This material is appropriate for grades 9 and up. Green if you agree, and red if you disagree.
Ms. Sapp, we have 8 green checks for this vote.
Right, so as a committee, we will recommend to our superintendent that the material is appropriate for grades 9 and up. I believe this concludes our questions. Give me 1 minute so I can read our final. Okay, thank you to all the committee members for your participation today. There are 2 final actions steps that we need to do before we can conclude our work. Number 1 is your acknowledgement as a participation on the committee is needed on the recommendation to Mr. Forson. This recommendation, which will include notes from today's discussion, will be emailed to you. You may acknowledge participation by responding with an email back, or you may review and sign the summary document at 40 Orange Street by Thursday, November 7th. So the first step is we need everyone to acknowledge your participation on the committee. You can do that in 2 ways. 1, by responding to the email that you have read over and accept the summary, or 2, you can come into the district to 40 Orange at the district office, and we will have a printed copy that you can review and sign. The second step is we need to return your book that you have been using for this committee work, and any notes from your work that you used to prepare for the meeting. Because this is a meeting that is in the sunshine, we do have to collect all notes that were used in prep for today's meeting. So we would need you to drop off the book and any of your notes at 40 Orange Street by Thursday, November 7th. This concludes our meeting, and again, thank you very much.
Thank you.